This is Aaron Waddell, your ancestral health coach. Welcome to the Ancestral Life. Every day, I hear so much bad, misleading information out there in the world about health. This information leads people into making really poor decisions about health in their own lives. I've had as much as I can take of this, so I decided to throw my own hat into the ring to hopefully make a difference in your life. Now, if you're listening to me, I'm guessing that you're not completely satisfied with your health and your life. That there's at least one area, or maybe several areas, where you'd like to get better. Let me be your partner on a voyage of discovery to get there together. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Ancestral Life. Just a couple of notes today. I want to let you know that I'll be taking a week off from the podcast. I'm actually going on vacation next week with my family, so it's been a long time since I've got to go on vacation, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I also want to let you know that I've also got a couple of great guests lined up for the coming weeks. So I may be taking a break from doing the stuff for the hormones and go with some guests and meeting some new people, and hopefully that will be just great. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, so you can look forward to that. So anyways, back to our look at the factors that affect our hormones, and specifically testosterone. So today we're going to be looking at sleep. We call it by a lot of different names: snooze, slumber, 40 winks, shut-eye, cat nap, napping, what have you. And no matter what we call it, we all know sleep's critical for our hormones. Make sure we have optimal levels. All we have to do is look at how we perform on those days when we don't get enough sleep. You've had them. We forget things. We miss what people say to us. We daydreaming. We'll make mistakes in our work. Just name a few. But just how important is sleep, and what impact does it have on our bodies? What does it do to our hormones? And of course, more importantly, what can we do to get better sleep? First, I wanted to share a couple of statistics I looked up. I saw that 103 million adults, that's like almost a third of the U.S. population, has some form of insomnia. That means they, at one time or another during the year, they have insomnia, that they can't sleep. The average number of times a person wakes up through the night is around 10. So if we're waking up 10 times a night, you can bet that we're not getting great sleep. I've looked at studies on microsleeps, and microsleeps are when you're driving your car, especially when you're driving your car and you like nod off for a second. That's called a microsleep, and it's been reported that 4% of drivers have had that in the past month. So that's 1 out of 25 drivers on the road is having that on a monthly basis. And while that doesn't seem like a ton, think about how many people are on the road. And these microsleeps cause as many as 6,000 fatal accidents. Accidents that could easily have been prevented. And last statistics I have is that people who sleep less than 5 hours a night are 40% more likely to be obese. So we clearly see that it's dangerous to our health and our well-being. And as disturbing as these numbers are, what's even more disturbing is that they continue to rise. And like every year, these numbers are getting more and more. And what we see that our environment is actively destroying our ability to sleep. And it really is doing a lot of damage to our health. So let's look at the benefits of sleep and what sleep does for us. So at first I'll say that proper sleep is considered to be 7 to 8 hours for adults. It's actually much more for children and teenagers, and that's a huge problem in its own right. Where children and teenagers need up to 10 hours of sleep a night, and it's really bad for them if they don't get that. And I bet if you know any teenagers, have any children, you know that's really uncommon that children getting that much sleep, especially teenagers. Now, getting this duration of sleep on a consistent basis has a whole bunch of benefits, and I'll just list a couple of them. It helps you maintain a healthy weight, as we discussed earlier from the obesity statistic. Improve concentration and productivity, lower risk of heart disease, improved insulin sensitivity, and so reduce chance of diabetes, and reduce risk of depression. Now, so as you can see, that's a lot of great stuff that sleep does for us. Now consider the hormones in the endocrine system and the effects sleep has there. So we see that the effect sleep has on hormone balance in the body is profound. And conversely, insufficient sleep is directly related to endocrine dysregulation. So the first hormone that I'll talk about is cortisol. Now, we've talked about it before, but cortisol is the stress hormone. It's what happens. It's released when we enter the fight or flight state. It produces all kinds of physiological responses. And now, those, like I said, those responses are good if we need to get away from a situation or to fight. But the chronically elevated levels of this hormone leads to higher blood sugar, higher blood pressure, and actually poorer sleep. So it becomes kind of a vicious cycle of getting poor sleep, elevated cortisol means it's harder to sleep. It's something that we really have to look at and take better care of. The next hormone is ghrelin. Now, ghrelin is a little known but very critical hormone. And I was going to say that it's so little known that my spell checker always flags it every time I type it in. So, yeah, not many people know about it, but it is very important. And it's known by the name the hunger hormone. And so simply put, an increased level of ghrelin causes you to be hungry. So if you're trying to maintain or lose weight, it's really something you want to keep down, or it's good. When that goes haywire, really all bets are off. So it's definitely something you want to watch. Then kind of the opposite of ghrelin is a hormone called leptin. Leptin signals to the hypothalamus, that the hypothalamus is the master endocrine organ of the body, that the stomach is full, and that you really should stop eating. So when this system gets disrupted, it can lead to overeating, because like your brain doesn't get that signal that your stomach's full and says, "Oh, I gotta keep eating, keep eating." And sleep either contributes by dropping the level of leptin or creating leptin resistance in the body. So it takes more and more leptin to get that signal through to the brain. Also, we have insulin, and we stated before in the benefits, insulin is heavily linked to sleep. So the whole system of insulin regulation, how much is produced, insulin resistance is all dependent on the quality of the sleep we get. And then last, but definitely not least, we talk about testosterone and HGH, or human growth hormone. So as we've seen, really nothing affects testosterone levels as significantly as lack of sleep. And I experienced this profoundly myself. As I stated, in my before I kind of started this health journey, I was suffering from low testosterone. Like, it was in a neighborhood at 200, which is quite low, and a large portion of it was because I was getting not nearly enough sleep. I was surviving on probably 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, and as we've seen from studies have shown that they've shown as much as a 15% decrease in testosterone from just 1 week of sleep restriction. Once you do that for a long period of time and it becomes chronic, then it becomes exceedingly difficult to raise it back up, as I found out. And oftentimes this results in the need for replacement therapy in a lot of men. Even those well under the age of 50 or 60, when you would think more that would be expected. So by now, we should be fully aware of the importance of sleep. So now I'd like to turn attention to kind of the enemies of sleep, what's causing us to experience this current epidemic of poor sleep that we have right now. The first thing I would say is we have these virtually limitless entertainment options. When we look at things like Hulu and YouTube and Netflix, all these things, we see that there's more entertainment available to us now than we could watch in 1,000 or probably even, I don't know, 1,000,000 lifetimes. And all these services are all engineered to keep you on them just as long as possible. And I have to include social media in that as well, with all the reels and everything on TikTok and Instagram and everything. So really, against this engineering, we just don't really stand a chance, and it's really hard without help to kind of break free from it. And the next thing we talk about is the blue light that is just everywhere. And I think we've all heard about this, but all our devices put out this blue light that is really harmful because it mimics the sun during daytime, and it wakes us up and keeps us alert, and when we're exposed to it at night, it can really mess us up. Because at night we should be experiencing red light, kind of the light from the sun shifts towards the red side of the spectrum, and that like relaxes us and gets us ready for sleep. So that blue light interferes with that system, and it messes up our sleep dramatically. So what can we do to optimize sleep? I've got several things that you can do. The first one is to really watch the caffeine. I think we've all heard this, but I think sometimes we don't realize how much caffeine affects our system. Really, if we drink any more than 1 or 2 cups of coffee in the morning, it will have an effect on our sleep at night. And so really it's better to stick closer to the 1 cup, two possibly, but really that should be all. That'll definitely help your sleep be a better quality. The second thing, and I've talked about this before and I'll talk about it again, I'll talk about it till I'm blue in the face, is stop breathing through your mouth. So, and I mean ever. I mean doing exercise, what have you. You should never be breathing through your mouth. And I get a story that out of James Nestor's book, Breathe, he talks about some of the Native American tribes from the Great Plains who believe that the air which enters the lungs is as different from that which enters the nostrils as diluted water is different from the water in a cistern or a frog pond. So clearly they were huge advocates of breathing through the nose, and they would go so far as to pinch their babies, hold their mouths shut, so that they would make sure to breathe through the nose, because they believed that everything evil came in through the mouth. And after what I've experienced since that time, I tend to believe them. The next thing I talk about is decreasing insulin resistance. And like we said, that even though insulin resistance does depend on sleep, it goes the other way too. That decreasing insulin resistance is a great way to promote better sleep. And as we talked about before, the best way to reduce insulin resistance is by restricting carbohydrates, especially grains and sugar. And it's also, like I said, extremely important to get rid of the damaging seed oils like canola, sunflower, cottonseed, all of those, and take those out of the diet, because those are promoting insulin resistance. Next tip is to get direct sunlight as early as possible in the morning. Now, when we get out in the sun and get our eyes exposed to the sunlight, and this is, mind you, without sunglasses, it kind of kicks off our internal clock. And then our body says, okay, that's the beginning of the day. And then, like 14 hours or 15 hours later, you start getting tired and want to go to sleep. And that's kind of the natural cycle of things. So, like I said, it's very important to get out there first thing in the morning and get that sunlight. And we talked about this before, but avoiding blue light at night is absolutely a key. And I'll let you be the first to know that I am not anywhere near perfect on this. I'm often on my devices or computer or whatever late at night, and I know it's not good for me. And I've considered getting blue light glasses, and it's something that I probably should think more about doing. But I'll give you that advice, and also let you know that a lot of our devices, most of your smartphones that you'll have a setting to activate less blue light at night, and at the very least, use those settings and make sure you don't deactivate them. They should be on by default, and just make sure they are on. And then the last tip I have is just a breathing technique that I learned actually from James Nestor's book, and it's called box breathing, and this is a powerful technique, and it's been popularized by the Navy SEALs to manage stress and anxiety. And it's basically a method of breathing where you do all your stages of your breath to a 4 count. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and hold that for 4 seconds. And that's really powerful, like I said, for combating anxiety and relaxing. But you can modify it slightly to make it more powerful for sleeping. And to do that, you simply just extend the in-breath and the out-breath for a 6 count, or you can do an 8 count, and then just hold for 2 seconds, and then do the out-breath for 6 seconds. So 6-2-6-2. And if you do that for a couple minutes, you'll usually find yourself asleep. It's just a very powerful, relaxing technique. So I hope you can see that just how important sleep is for our body and for our hormones, and why you always want to prioritize sleep. Don't make the mistake like I did of prioritizing exercise or your work or really anything else over getting that sleep on a regular, consistent basis. And if you can do that, your body and your mind and your health will absolutely thank you. Well, that's all I have for today. Like I said, I'll be taking a break next week, and I'll be back the next week, and we'll be talking about another exciting topic in this series. And there we'll be discussing reducing and managing stress. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope that you are too. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. I'll see you soon. Have a great week. Until then, this is Aaron Waddell, your ancestral health coach, signing off. If you like the podcast, it would mean so much to me if you'd write a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever service you're listening on. And please share it with a friend. You can share it on social media too, with the hashtag #TheAncestralLife. And last, but certainly not least, I'm building a community on Facebook. Many of you may already be in it, but for those of you that aren't, I'd love to invite you. It's called the Ancestrally Aligned Health Support Group. So if you're feeling lost and alone in your health journey, and you feel like you don't have the support that you need to be successful, then please come join us. I just want to do everything I can to help you through the difficult times and cheer you on for your successes, commiserate with your setbacks, and just in general be a good friend. So I really hope to see you there. The link is in the show notes, or you can just search for it on Facebook. Thanks for your time. In the words of the incomparable Wim Hof, all the love, all the power.